Hello again, everyone. I'd like to think I'm a little bit more calm than I was the last time I made a video, but my blood sugar is probably low. I'd like to say I hope you're all doing well. Things have just gotten all the way fucked up. I don't even know what to begin. like, oh man. I don't know. I've really just been contending with how much of what we let me say it like this, this education, social system, whatever, it creates people to perform certain functions, right? Let's say school, education. People are educated. They're not educated in the sense of they're enlightened. They're educated in the sense that there's a particular set of information that you have to know to be able to move on to the next stage of, I don't know, development or career progress, life progress, whatever. Sounds obvious, right? It's all arbitrary, right? It's all fucking arbitrary. It's easy enough. And the funny thing is, I probably sound like a dumbass or a dropout, but I liked school. I liked learning. I liked, having my brain challenged in that sense. I didn't know what school was for, though. It wasn't for us to be educated. It was it was indoctrination 101. The more indoctrinated your mind is, or that you allow your mind to become, the further up the societal ladder you get pushed. Society doesn't reward intelligence. It doesn't reward it, it doesn't reward what it says or what people believe society to do. There's so much posturing. There's so much fucking posturing that goes into, man. Wow. I'm so glad I never write scripts for these videos, because it would be trying to rationalize what really can't be fucking rationalized. Like, you do everything you can do everything by the book and still get fucked. And in fact, it's accelerating more now than ever before. Society doesn't reward good people. It good people, society rewards posturing. Above all, it rewards posturing. And I, to this day, cannot accept that. This just a part of my consciousness just refuses to fucking accept it. It's all about posturing. There is no amount of you know, man. I mean, it's, I guess it's seeing how everything is fucking crumbling. Seeing how, every now and again, this apocalyptic end of the world rhetoric gets pushed. And I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older, but it's more and more evident. Like, I wouldn't say I believe in accelerationism, but I can see it happening. Right? Human beings have leached the fuck out of the planet until the planet's like, you know what? Fuck you. You know? We're really in a calm before the storm type of situation. And this is even worse, I would say, than, World War II type conditions, because we weren't anywhere near as interconnected and globalized the way we are right now. The idea of the individual had never become more commercialized than it is right now. It's just so. Not only that, it's so easy to spread your message, to spread. Literally, how the fuck am I talking to you right now? You could be anywhere in the world and I'm talking to you, right? This is insane. This is insane. And I think we're really getting to the point where, was it Einstein? I'm pretty sure I'm repeating myself again, but we've reached the stage where, like, wars, World War III, was it like World War III will be nuclear and then World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones or something? Like, we're there. We're pretty much there right now, Even the people who are addicted to watching, like, the fucking news will never really understand just how much fucking bloodshed goes on. Like, I don't know. I probably should be saying words of encouragement and, like, we'll get through. There's people who do that and they're fucking amazing. They are fucking amazing. But I've realized that's not my lane. That's not my lane, I think I've just seen the hypocrisy of human beings. as this fucking irredeemable, you know? Like, you have a problem, you know how to solve it, but it gets to a point where you're too comfortable in that problem to actually solve it, so you'd rather just pretend that you're doing something about it. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, like, you know, it really doesn't matter how rich or poor. Like, yes, you know, the amount of resources you have definitely affects how your quality of life, your outlook on life, what you can think, how you can, you know, how you can express yourself, all this stuff. But it gets to a point where that urge to just be a fucking brainlet just kicks in for so many people. You know, you can't, you know, you can say economics, religion, gender fucking wars, right? But it's all about who can get as much power out of someone, like who can fucking leech as much as possible from the other person while also playing the victim. That's the side. That's the fucking world we live in, and I'd like to believe that, you know, it's different in other places, but again, we've gotten to the point where we're so interconnected that, like, you know, a video could go viral like this, a false, and this is before AI became as commercially available as it is right now, you know, within such a short time frame. Like, it is insane. I have laughed my ass off listening to some of the AI recorded songs of like really famous artists. Like, music is dead, you know, art is dead. Sorry, we had a nice run, you know, meme pages. You did your thing. We will always remember you for it, but like, it's gone now. Okay, maybe it's not gone right now, but really, it is absolutely fucking insane. You know, you really might be thinking, you know, reality is not for you to decide, and that's something I've grown into. It's not for you to decide, in the sense that reality is what you make it, right? And again, easy enough to say when you have the means to do something about it, right? But for the most part, we're interdependent, right? We're interconnected in a way that should make sense, but doesn't, right? You know, I really like how we see ourselves as so much more educated, so much more enlightened than previous generations. But, you know, the human brain can only tolerate so much. If, you know, if previous generations were subjected to the conditions that we were subjected to, I think they'd be just as fucked up as we are, right? Maybe. I mean, really, what the fuck, what the fuck are we doing? What the fuck are we doing, right? The people who, bloviate about God and morality don't even actually understand that they're not fucking. There is. Okay, I would say my belief in whatever constitutes God probably leans most towards Spinoza's definition of God, right? If there is a God, I think it's some kind of, it's impersonal, intangible, impermanent, maybe. To me, it's something that it's indifferent. It's indifferent to the way. It's indifferent to what humans want, right? It's indifferent to what. It's indifferent, right? I'd say immovable, even. Like, I'm just rambling about this, but, look up Spinoza's God. Obviously, he defined it better than I did, right? As far as I'm concerned, what most human beings talk about when they talk about God isn't God at all. It's an impulse for manipulation and control. That's what God is to most of these people. It's an impulse, right? And I can say for people who are like, atheist or agnostic, I completely understand. I completely understand, right? It's not even about you not believing. It's that once you make it known that you don't believe, it's almost like the negative how do you say it kicks something in the minds of like fundamentalists, right? It triggers something in the minds of fundamentalists that's like, we have to make you believe whether you want to or not. And that, to me, is fucking demonic. That has nothing to do with God at all, right? If somebody else's belief system disturbs you to the point that you want to force them to believe that your system is correct, you're the fucking demon, right? You're the satanic piece of shit. You don't actually believe in God in that sense. And, by the way, if you didn't realize it, we're living in a new era of the satanic panic, right? Like, I thought, for people who are like, oh, I was born in the wrong generation. Oh boy, oh boy, right? Like, we industrialize so fast that we have to like deindustrialization is happening right in front of our fucking eyes at the hands of artificial intelligence. We are going back in time. right? You thought you were born in the wrong generation? Fuck yeah. Oh boy. You know, your dreams come true, right? We're regressing every fucking day. Right? And it's the fact that there's so few people. There's so few people, you know, if you have these kinds of thoughts, there are so few people around you who will ever be able to understand it by design, right? Like their minds, and that's the crazy thing. It could be your family, it could be your friends. Their minds are just fucking molded one way, and no matter what, you just can't change it. You just can't change it. You know? And the one thing that gets me the most is this crabs in a bucket mentality, right? This crabs in a bucket mentality. And I think this cuts across racial lines, right? Crabs in a fucking bucket. You try and help the next person, they stab you in the back for trying to help them, right? And, you know, I've noticed they don't have any obligation to trust you. They don't have any obligation to trust you. Fine, right? You know, why then? Why do people fucking cry and bitch and moan then? You know, you reach. It's almost like they don't want the help from you, or they don't actually want the help, right? It's always something else. It's always something else. Something else. Something else. And the fact that I think about this so deeply all the time, just I don't know, you know, selfishness, I've realized, is a protective fucking factor. Be selfish, right? I fight every day to be as selfish as possible. Because I'm done, right? You know, look out for the people who look out for you, like in that genuine sense. And there's not many of them. As fucking, like, I'm really starting to believe that there's probably not even more than like 1 billion people on the planet, right? That's bullshit. You mean to tell me there's all these fucking people, all these people alive, right? And human beings have never felt so fucking lonely and isolated as we do now. That has to be bullshit. Has to fucking be bullshit. Right? You're telling me we are more human beings alive right now than have ever been, probably in history. And most people don't have more than like, you know, 2 or 3 like really close. Okay, even if you're like really outgoing or everything, like your circle is going to be very small, right? And that's like that's probably for like the top 10% of people who are able to even get to that level of socializing, right? Most people don't have a very big circle, right? And because we've entered such an era of like distrust and just plain greed and just, oh man, I don't know, like like you know, I can't remember who it was, which creator it was. I was saying that it constantly talks about, whether or not you work, whether or not you look for employment, or you are getting shafted. You are getting fucking shafted. Like, like, you walk into the office just to fucking get shafted. Every day you clock in, out, you're taking the fucking, you're just taking a massive fucking dildo, the CEO's massive fucking dildo, right? All the while they're probably getting pegged themselves by some dominatrix, but that's besides the point, right? You're going in mentally fucking yourself, physically fucking yourself, like all of it, just to get enough, just to survive, right? And if you're unfortunate enough to have like children, right, that's more on their heads. That's all these bills to cover, all these in case ofs that it is just insane. And I've come to pity a lot of these people, right? Maybe I'm saying it because I don't have a wife and kids. But I've come to pity a lot of them because maybe a lot of them it was deliberate. Maybe a lot of them were just, doing what everybody else is doing. But it's really like, damn. You have all these fucking liabilities on your head. And there's pretty much nothing you can do to get out of it. That's crazy. Anyways, it is amazing. It is amazing just how far we've come, just to burn everything to the fucking ground. And for what, right? For what? You can see, it's almost like, man, is it going to be too cliche to say that, iRobot was right, The Matrix was fucking right, Deus Ex Machina was right? Like, how do we see these things coming and we're just walking into them like, oh, nothing could go wrong. This couldn't possibly come back to bite us in the fucking ass, right? Is that the cosmic joke? Is that the fucking joke about humanity, right? Have we finally entered the era, the alien era, right? Are we finally like, even then, what the fuck would that actually look like? Would aliens look at us like we're fucked up? We look at them like, they're weird and creepy and all this kind of thing? What is it at this point? I read nowadays. I read quite a lot, quite a lot of like old books or like old literature, and I remember. I really think. I don't know about you, but a lot of our teachers fucking failed us, and that's something that they're going to have to contend with. A lot of them fucking failed us, right? They expect pity from the people they were supposed to mold. They expect pity and compassion from the people that they were supposed to mold. Like, like I can say for a fact, a lot of fucking teachers set their students up for failure just because they were bitter about their own life. Like, I have plenty of fucking stories about it, you know? Plenty. Like, the older I get, I'm like, you know, you're a fucking adult. You're a fucking adult. Like, you have a fucking family, you have a fucking career, and you are this petty, small-minded enough to try and fuck a kid's life up for what? For what? You know, there are, again, maybe these are just, maybe I'm just speaking about these in the minority, you know, like, I would like to believe that a lot of people are well-intentioned. I'd like to believe that. I'd like to believe, you know, a lot of these people who are in these very pivotal careers are well-intentioned. And to be honest, you know, they probably had the same aspirations, you know, they were going to do good and, you know, help grow the future, blah, blah, blah. Only to realize, you know, what the fuck, right? There's a mass exodus of teachers, of doctors, nurses, you name it. People in these very vital careers for a civilization to you know, be of any use. There's a mass exodus. Right? What the fuck does that mean for the future, right? The future is now, by the way. You know, what does that mean? What does it mean? You know, I've just been waiting for, like, it's not even that I've been waiting, you know, this is like the longest movie I've ever watched. Yeah, I can basically say that, you know? And you know, I've come to realize that loneliness isn't a state of mind. It's imposed on people. Somebody doesn't just become lonely, right? Unless of course they have fucking evil intentions, right? But most people who are lonely do not choose to be lonely. It's how this fucking world works, unfortunately. Especially if you enjoy independence, if you enjoy solitude, more so now than ever, the people who have never learned to survive on their own, or to think on their own, or to literally spend time by themselves, those people, at this point, I'm even just gonna call them fucking entities. Those people, they seek to destroy anyone else's idea of solitude or sanctity, right? For like the past 2 decades, seeing, you know, technology, social media, entertainment booming, right? Extroverted as fucking hell. Everything in your fucking face to be like, oh man, like now it's like a fucking cocaine spike, you know, it's like a cocaine high or something. Right? This is the decade of the come down, and the come down is so much worse than you could ever imagine it to be. And it's trying to take everyone who prepared for it. That's the fucked up part. You know? I'd like to say, whatever you need to do to stay mentally stable, to stay stable, right? Do it. Just fucking do it, right? Watch this entire show burn to the fucking ground. Like, isn't that what we're here for, at the very least? You know, we swallowed up all the bullshit about, we can change the world, we can make it a better place, blah, blah, blah. You could, right? You could. But then you become the villain, right? You gotta just let things continue as they are, right? If you really want to be able to thrive, you just have to let things continue as they are and just work around it. Just work around it the best you can, because these small changes, they do absolutely make a fucking difference. Absolutely. Right? You don't owe anyone your time. You don't owe anyone your fucking emotions. You don't owe anyone. You don't owe, like, genuinely. You genuinely don't owe anyone any of these things. And, like I've said before, the boomers are reaping what they sow now, right? I think, even if the population is getting to, 8 billion or whatever, I think it's a fucking lie, right? Okay, fine, this 8 billion people, whatever, right? I've stopped looking at, like, the GDP of countries. I'm such a fanatic of, like, I used to be, of, like, learning about, geopolitics and geography. Now it just gives me a fucking headache, because I'm like, oh man, right? I've just stopped, because they're all fucking numbers, and, like, literally, anyone can go behind a computer and type them up, and what else are you to believe? How do you actually know these numbers are what they are, right? How do you actually know? Everyone's fucking cooking them. How do you know? How do you know? Right? And, we've had the brilliant pleasure of living through, like, 3 fucking recessions in the last 20-something years, right? And all of these things happen in cycles, right? By the way, we're probably in another Great Depression, right? Vastly going to be it's just going to be worse, just way worse. Like, the human toll is just going to be fucking worse than the last one, for sure, for fucking sure, right? As I always say, just get yourself some of your favorite snacks, and cozy up and just watch it all burn. Just watch it all fucking burn, right? You've earned that much. You've made it this far, you've earned that much, right? So to anyone who, listens to me consistently, thanks. Honestly, this is literally, maybe you listening to me and me talking to you, this is literally therapy, right? you know, which I've also, and I'll probably make another video about this. But therapy as we know it is a load of bullshit, right? It's a load of fucking bullshit. It is helpful. It can help you. It can help you a lot. But how it's been sold to us, how it's been portrayed to us, especially in the social media age, is a load of crap. So let me not digress. I'll definitely be uploading a lot more because I'm just, it feels weird seeing all the things that, I and other creators have been talking about. Like, it's gone to a point where I've even seen like really big fucking mainstream channel. Like, we're in this really weird corner of the internet. But it's finally spreading to the rest of, to everyone else. It's literally spreading to them like, oh shit, this is happening? Really? What? Took them a fucking long while, but, so, hang tight, just let's see how it all happens. Let's see how it all plays out, What a time to be alive, I can say.